Okay, so today I'm going to be answering a question for Question a Psychic. And the question is, it was given to me by one of my members, one of our Patreon members. It was, how can you tell the difference between your intuition or spirit speaking to you versus your mind and just making it up? This is a great question. And it depends a lot on how in touch you are with when you're connecting. So it depends a lot on how much you've practiced and learned to discern the difference when information's coming in. You can ask yourself some questions. And there's two different things that we're looking at here with information coming in for yourself. How do you determine if it's your mind making it up or if it's your intuition? And then on the other hand, for someone else, let's say you're doing a mediumship or psychic reading for someone else. So there are two different instances. And first I want to talk about when you're doing or receiving information for yourself, because that's the hardest one. Because it's inevitable that our own judgments will kind of start to get in the way, and we'll have some thoughts come through of our own. But with the more practice that you do, the more you're able to recognize the subtleties and the differences. So one of the things I say to ask yourself is, if you are having information come in, if it's not at a time when you're thinking about the topic that the information is addressing, then likely it's not your mind or your thoughts. But if you are sitting down to connect and ask a question and receive information, and you're already thinking of those things, one way to tell the difference is, I think it would be to how the information comes in. Does it sound like words you would use? Is it coming in images? Is it coming in words? Or is it mostly thoughts? Also feelings, because we know our clairsenses are going to be heightened. So we will get images. And if you receive an image, if you can change the image in your mind, then it's not an intuitive image. It's not a clairvoyant image, because those images you can't change. You can follow it while the image expands and moves on to something. But let's say you're thinking about a woman sitting in a bar, and then you go back to think about it, and now the woman's sitting on the beach. Well, that wasn't a clairvoyant image. That was your mind making those things up. So it's how the information comes in, definitely plays a role in how to tell the difference. Also, I like to, when I'm getting information for myself, to use my cards. I prefer that because I feel like I trust the cards, because I know what they say, like tarot, a tarot deck or an oracle card deck, you know the meanings for sure. So you can count on spirit providing you those messages, because you've asked for that, as opposed to receiving information and being like, oh, did I just think that? Or was it really something? The cards are pretty straight on about their meanings. So if I'm doing something to get information for myself, I'll usually use cards. Some people like to use a pendulum. Now, if you're doing a reading for someone else, it's really all about, in the beginning, it's really all about trust. It's about asking, trusting that the information you're receiving is true, whether the person you're giving the reading to understands it or recognizes it at that time, because a lot of times, not a lot of times, but it will happen where they don't in that moment, but then they do later. So always trusting that when you sit down to do a reading for someone, intuitively, psychically, or mediumship, that all the information that you're getting is coming to you from spirit. And it's just practice, 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 so that you can set your mind aside to receive that information and know when it's coming in and your thoughts aren't. It is tricky, but with lots of practice, the more you do it, the easier it gets, and you'll start to notice those differences. So I hope that answers the question. If anybody wants more clarity or has another question related to this, let me know. Drop it in the comments. And yeah. All right. See you soon.